Cleanse those who have leprosy, drive out demons. Freely you have received, freely you give. And so I want us to think about that, because when we receive from the Lord, it doesn't cost us anything. We freely receive. We received our salvation. We received our healing. We received blood. We receive freely, and it's all in Him. But when you freely give, it costs us everything. Now we have to enter in. We have to jump in. We have to be involved. And so the first part when we started on August 17th, we all gathered together and we painted and we cleaned and got chairs and we got ready for the opening. Actually, opening was August 17th. We started in June. And then July, every Saturday, somebody was here, groups of people, getting set up for the launch on the 17th. And it was a great launch, and there was a lot of interest, and there was hunger, and people wanted to be a part of this. And then as we got more involved in it, we began to see, okay, well, people were saying, is this really what I want to do? There's a fun part. Yes, this is good. But the Lord is calling us to something that's deeper and bigger than what we can imagine. And so that means that we have to take the next step. The first step, we got engaged, and we came, and yes, we're going to support Pastor Mark. Well, last Sunday night was our Super Bowl, those of you that were here, and it was our Super Bowl, and we had testimonies, and we called them touchdowns. And it was kind of fun. People that watched online sent me notes and said, that was fun. It's like, you had a Super Bowl, you had your own party. We did. It was our own party. And we praised the Lord for what He was doing in us, because we knew He had much more to do through us. And that's the key. And the second part, and that's why the vision that Pastor gave last Sunday is so important when we understand the context. Jesus talking to disciples here, He's setting them up for the commission. He's setting them up for the assignment. He's setting them up for, He's been training them, praying with them, teaching them. Now He's sending them out. He said, okay, I called them. I'm going to give you authority. I'm going to send you out. So let's look at a couple verses. Verse 1, He gives them authority. He says, I'm going to give you authority to drive out impure spirits and heal diseases and sicknesses. These disciples who never went to Bible school, who never were ordained, they went through the hard school of Christ, and He gave them authority in His name to drive out spirits, to heal every disease and every sickness. So that means every place they went when they prayed for people, they got healed. Is it every one? And so God put into them, Jesus put into them power, but He also gave them limitations. Look at verse 5. Someone reads verse 5 for me, please.
These 12 Jesus sent out and commanded them, saying, do not go into the way of the Gentiles, and do not enter the city of the Samaritans.
So He gave them what? Limitations. He gave them authority, but He gave them limitations. And He gave them territorial jurisdiction. Verse 6, what does verse 6 say?
But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
I like that. Stereo. I like that. That's perfect. That was stereo. I like that. Go to the lost sheep of Israel. So He told them where not to go, and He told them where to go. So He gave them authority to do what they couldn't do without that authority. He gave them limitations, strict with His plan. He gave them territorial instructions. In verse 7, He gave them a message. And what's the message say? Verse 7, somebody read that.
And as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
So the message is the kingdom of heaven has come near. And He gave them power. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those that have leprosy, drive out demons. Freely you have received, freely give. And then in verse 9, He sets with them some motives. He gives them motivation. What does He say in verse 9? Don't get any gold or silver or copper to take with you. So He says, don't take any money. No bags for the journey or extra shirt or sandals or staff, for the work is worth His keeping. So He's sending them out. I love this. He's sending them out as sheep among wolves. What sheep wants to go among a wolf? There's no sheep that wants to go where wolves are. I mean, when you're saying to, and I remember I had to give a graduation address to a bunch of students in India, and I gave them this passage. I said, that day when they leave, they were going out to villages and teach. You're going to be sheep among wolves. You're going out there where they don't want to hear what you have to say. You're going to go out there where it may cost your life. You're being sent out as a sheep among a wolf. And no sheep wants to go where wolves are. And so He had to deal with something with them right away, because He's sending them out. in something that's very scary and fearful. And so he tells them in verse 16. What happens in verse 16? Well, let's 11 to 14. What does he say? As they go out, what are they supposed to expect? Somebody read 11 to 14.
Now, whatever city or town you enter, inquire who in it is worthy, and stay there till you go out. And when you go into a household, greet it. If the household is worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it is not worthy, let your peace return to you. And whoever will not receive you nor hear your words, when you depart from that house or city, shake off the dust from your feet.
So he told them to look and expect responsiveness. Go for the house of peace. Go for the people who want to receive. Expect responsiveness. He's sending them out among the wolves, but he tells them, I'm giving you the power. I'm giving you all that you need. Go with urgency. In verse 16, he says, go diligently. And verse 17, he says, count the cost. Somebody read 17 and 18.
But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to their councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues.
So he's telling them, be on your guard. You'll be handed over to the local councils. You'll be flogged in the synagogues. On my account, you'll be brought before the governors and kings and witnesses to them, to the Gentile. He's telling them, you're going to get it. Those are the wolves. You're going to get beaten up. You're going to be persecuted. He says, count the cost in verse 17 and 18. Understand it. But look what he says in verse 19 and 20. Someone read that.
But when they deliver you up, do not worry about how or what you should speak, for it will be given to you in that hour what you should speak. For it's not you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father who speaks in you. Amen.
So he tells them to expect what? The supernatural. Expect the supernatural. And then in verses 21 to 25, he tells them not to be surprised by persecution. And the persecution comes from their own family, from those who know them. So he's setting them all up. He said, I'm going to send you out among wolves, but I'm going to give you authority and power to heal the sick, to cleanse the lepers, to deliver those who are in bondage. He's sending them out to do the impossible, but only he can do. And he's telling them, you're going to face persecution, and it's going to be tough. Already know this. But then he says, expect the supernatural. Expect the supernatural. I think sometimes we don't expect the supernatural. We understand it gets tough and it's hard, but we don't expect the supernatural. I tell you, the only way this church is going to grow is through the supernatural. And so he needed his disciples to understand that. In verse 26 and 27 and 31, he uses an expression. Someone read verse 26 for me.
Therefore do not fear them, for there is nothing covered that will not be revealed, and hidden that will not be known.
So he says, have no fear. In verse 26, have no fear. Say it with me. Have no fear. Then in verse 27, he says, do not fear. And in verse 31, someone read that one.
So do not be afraid. You are more valuable than many sparrows.
So he says, do not be afraid. Say that with me. Do not be afraid. Say, do not fear. Have no fear. He's telling them you're going to go out and it's going to be tough and it's going to be hard, but have no fear. Why? Because you put your faith and your trust in me. Now, Pastor, he gave a vision last Sunday night that I thought was pretty good, pretty exciting. But we, and those of us that were here, came back up and we made a commitment to serve with him. He said, providing truth. These are the three things that are really the basis for the church. Providing truth through consistent teaching of God's word. We are a church that studies the Bible verse by verse, chapter by chapter, book by book. The teaching is important for all ages. We want only the truth taught. So we emphasize that. That's one of our core tenets. We provide truth through the consistent teaching of God's word. That's why we exist. And so everything that we do, Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, with the youth, we're here, every service, everything that's done is done consistently through the word. If it's not in the word, we don't teach it. And so it's important to understand that's who we are and that's what we do. And then to give the second one, inspire action through inviting everyone to join a servant leadership team. Now, providing truth, that falls on him and sometimes on me. And so we can sit here and say, if we're coming to the church, we can say, that's their job. That's leadership. That's why we pay them. They're to give us the word. But the second part is all of us. It's not just the pastor. It's not just me. It says inspiring action through inviting everyone to join a servant leadership team. We have more than 22 teams. And the important part here is that we need more of us to get engaged in the battle, get engaged in what needs to happen. This church is not going to grow simply because Pastor Mark teaches good messages. You can get a good message anywhere. It grows when the body is working together to see it happen. That's when it grows. It's when the body goes out and says, hey, come with me. So when the body gets engaged. That's why we want everyone to be involved in servant leadership. We want everyone to be involved. And we have so many opportunities, especially now that we have Wednesday night. We have so many opportunities with teaching, with nursery, with childcare, so many things that we can get involved at. We're waiting for the Lord to call us. And I believe the Lord is calling us, even tonight, to be involved in what this mission is all about. So the second tenet is inspiring action through inviting everyone to join. The third one is evangelizing the world through global and local mission outreaches. In these next days, in these next weeks, in these next months, one of the things you're going to hear from us here is, how are we going to get involved outside of the walls of this church? Who are we going to see? Who are we going to invite? Who are we going to make a part of this? These pews will not fill themselves. People won't come to Christ by themselves. We need to bring them. We need to invite them. We need to become involved in what this church is about. And if we believe that there is a vision that's worth fighting for, and if we believe that we're called to something bigger than ourselves, then we're going to jump in on this thing. We're going to say we want to see every pew filled. We want to see, not because we want to just see the pew filled, but because when pews are filled, that means the church is working. When the pews are filled, that means the body is understanding their responsibility. When the pews are filled, that means we're all engaged. When they're empty, it means we just come, oh, well, we'll come when we want to. And maybe this weekend we don't have to come. We can watch it online. Nothing wrong with watching online. Those of you that are watching online tonight, bless you. Nothing wrong with that. We watched on Wednesday night online. It was great. But I'm telling you, there's more to it than that. And if we want to go the next step and see what God has for us here, there was a sister this morning that said, well, nobody knows you. And I tell people I go to Calvary Chapel, Bedford, but nobody knows about you. Well, if nobody knows about us, whose fault is that? Is it the pastor's? Should he, these little sandwich boards and walk down the street, Calvary Chapel, Bedford, Calvary Chapel, Bedford. Maybe we should put that in his job description. That's what he needs to do. 7 days a week, just walk down the streets with a sandwich board so people can know us. No, that's not his responsibility. Neither is it your responsibility, but it is our responsibility to make sure that the church is known. That's ours. And if Jesus sent out his disciples and he gave them power and authority to accomplish the mission, Jesus is also doing the same to us. He gives us power and authority to trust him, even though it's going to be tough and even though there's going to be persecution, and there will be. There'll be people who will laugh at you. There'll be people who will say, no, I'm not going to come. I know some of you called your family 20 times to come. They haven't come. Try 21, 22, 23. One of those times people are going to come. We cannot give up. The task is too great. The assignment is too heavy here. And we need to understand that if we got engaged to start this on August 17th, and if we came to the Super Bowl last Sunday night and we said, yes, Pastor, we're with you, that means we are with him. That means we are with him. There's a responsibility on our shoulders to become engaged in making sure that every aspect of our church, every ministry is filled. The nursery is filled. Our classes are filled. Our youth filled. Everything that we do, we have somebody there to do it. And it's not all on one person or one family. And so, freely we have received. Freely we must give. That's a decision that you and I need to make. I received from the Lord freely. Now I'm going to freely give. I'm going to jump in and engage. Now, last Sunday night we did that. It was kind of like we gathered around Pastor and Stacy and said, okay, and we proclaimed it verbally. We said, yes, we're with you. And as the weeks and months go by, we'll see how that plays out. Because there's more to that than just gathering around the pastor and slapping on the back and say, yeah, we're with you. It's week after week after week after week. It's month after month after month after month. It's not just signing on for August. It's continuing to fulfill the responsibility God gave us to be in this spot. Now, there's so many things opening up for us. We have 105 students now coming on Friday. That's a huge, huge opportunity for us. Mammoth. And in April, we're going to be having a dinner for the families, so we'll have an outreach to them. Easter's coming up in April. Great opportunity to invite people. There's no reason, none, that we should have empty pews on Easter Sunday. None. Now, I say this because I pastored for 27 years. I started 11 churches. I've been around the world. And I do not accept the fact that because they were too busy. I don't accept that. I don't accept the beginning that we all gather together and we jump in and rah, 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 and then we just kind of get tired. This is a long-term commitment that we made. We're in for the completion of the mission the Lord gave us. That's why Jeff and Kat said, yes, we'll do the young people. That's why the Lord spoke to them. They didn't get up in the morning and say, you know what, let's go be youth leaders. That was not what they came here for. They did not come here to become youth leaders. That's not why they joined this place. Kat was going to be doing all the events, and Jeff was going to be doing prayer. But the Lord directed them in another way. And they jumped in. And it's not an easy thing to jump into. Joey and Shay, Joey, he didn't come here to be the head of the men's ministry. That's not what but the Lord called him to that, and he jumped into that. So we get called into things. Now, tomorrow night, the ladies are going to meet with Stacy and Wendy, and you're going to talk about women's ministry. Well, if it just come to gather around them and have a cup of coffee and say, yeah, you do it, it'll be a wasted night. But if you understand the importance of women's ministry and how we can gather more women here, then you'll join in with them and say, we're with you. We're not expecting you to do it all, but this is how we can grow this. We have to become engaged. Freely we have received, freely we must give. We spent 21 days praying that. And now we must say, okay, Lord, I have received from you. Now I'm giving back to you. All that I have, I'm giving to you because you have something you want to do in me and you want to do through me. There is tremendous things that the Lord has for this church. He put us in the best location you can possibly have. People don't believe that we're so close to a high school. When I tell them, like, you're there? Yeah, next door. You can walk over there. They don't believe the opportunities that we have. We are blessed people, more than we can imagine. So with that comes great responsibility. With that comes huge opportunity. So you have responsibility and opportunity. We just have to become engaged. We have to jump into that. And so we need to ask the Lord, what is it you want us to do, and how can we do it? We always say we're not going to come to you and say, please volunteer. We're praying and asking the Lord for you to hear from God, and then you call. We've had people already do that. That's what Jeff and Kat did. That's what Brittany did. That's what others have done. There's much more to do. So ask the Lord, what can I do? How can I jump in? How can I become engaged? What is my responsibility to the body and to the community so that we can see you, Lord, grow this church through each of us? Yes, we need solid teaching. But it's only solid teaching if we bring people to hear it. If it's the same 20 that hear it every Sunday, that's great for them, but it doesn't complete the mission. It doesn't complete the mission. This church has not been established for 20 people. That's not why we're here. We're here to make an impact in the community. How do we do that? We become engaged. We become involved. We jump in on every avenue. This is the opportunity the Lord gives us. And that's why I'm really excited about what the Lord did through the 21 days of prayer and fasting. Even personally, I had a terrible bout with diabetes, and my blood count was so high that during the 21 days, that I went fast. I said, Lord, you got to bring this thing down. So I tried everything, and then I went had a complete blood count. And my count went from 10 to 6, all the way down during those 21 days. The Lord does those things. Today, this is a bad day for me. I'm suffering. I'm in a lot of pain right now. But the Lord's going to take care of that. I can't sit. I can only stand. But the Lord I know what the Lord is trying to do in my life. He's saying, listen, I have something for you to do, and you need to become engaged. You know you're going to get messed up. You know you're going to get hurt. You know you're going to have issues. Give it all to him. So every day, that's what I do. Lord, here it is. Here's my mess. Here's my pain. Here's my issues. Lord, take care of it. So the reason why I'm saying all these things to us tonight is because freely we have received. Freely we've received. So now is the time to freely give. So we want to pray tonight over several things that we need to give to. I want us to pray for the need that we have in the nursery and in men's ministry and women's ministry, the needs that we have them coming up, prayer breakfast coming up Saturday. We need a lot of guys to come and help cook all that. We have 31 registered. We're going to prepare for 45 because we're going to have an exceptional opportunity this weekend. Kairos will be here. They'll be sharing with us the ministry of prison ministry. We'll be hearing from some of the leaders as well as testimonies from those who have gone through it. Not everybody gets a chance to get involved in this. This is a unique opportunity for us as a church to say, wow, and pastor's been involved for a long time, to jump in and be a part of the healing ministry by baking cookies, for heaven's sakes. I was part of Living Word Church for over a couple of years, and we made 50, 60, 80, 100 dozen one time to send to Kairos to give to these prisoners. And those cookies open up doors to lead people to Jesus. It's an amazing opportunity God gives to us. So that's this Saturday, men. We get an opportunity to hear that right here. And so if you haven't signed up yet, sign up as you go out. If you don't sign up, you'll turn into a, pillar of salt, but I don't want to say that. But really, it's an opportunity. Nobody wants to miss this breakfast. We got pancakes, we got eggs, we got yogurt, we got everything. So you don't want to miss it. But we want to pray that the Lord will raise up and do what he wants to do. So let's have a couple of you pray for the ministries of our church, opportunities to serve in the nursery, opportunities to serve, because we have now Wednesday night, Sunday morning. We have three opportunities where we need people to be back there. And we don't want the same people sitting back there. We want a rotating. So the more we have, the easier it is on everybody. So let's ask the Lord for that. So a couple of you pray right now, and let's just bring it to him.
Heavenly Father, thank you that we have a place to come to worship you, that you've given us this building and this opportunity to draw you close and to draw others close to you, Lord. I'm just asking for a servant's heart from people, Lord, from myself, Lord. What other ways can I get more involved and to serve sacrificially, Lord? I just pray that you would touch people's heart to see the need, see the needs around them, Lord, and that you would give their heart just an extra spark, Lord, to see that that's a spot where they can sit in a few hours, a few minutes of time, just to give you glory, Lord. I pray that we would be workers in the community, Lord, that we would be out there spreading your gospel, Lord, spreading your good word, Lord, and that we would bring people in. We wouldn't be afraid to step out, Lord, that we wouldn't be afraid to stand up and say something to somebody. Sometimes all people need is just one little saying, be like, hey, you want to come to church? And who knows? Today may be the day they come, Lord. And I ask that you would just make these little miracles happen, Lord, that you would call the people that you want to come and serve, Lord, and that you would just do it abundantly, Lord. We know what we need to do, Lord, and everyone understands what our will is and your will is to do, Lord. And I just ask that you would just give us a new way to step out in your faith, Lord.
Amen. Somebody else pray for the men's breakfast on Saturday?
Lord, I would just ask that you would continue to minister to the men according to their faithfulness and their willingness just to come out and to fellowship with one another and to fellowship with you and to learn of the abundant opportunities that we have, the amazing blessings that you're pouring out through this church into this community, and allow guys to come who maybe would not have normally come and then actually find a long-range plan that leads significance and meaning in their life that they would never have found by spending the morning in front of the television or whatever else you might be doing that day. That they would come and
Amen. In Matthew 10:34-39, he says this, "Do not think that I've come to bring peace to the earth. I've not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I've come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a person's enemies will be those of his own household. Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Whoever does not take his cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds his life will lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake will find it." I remember when I first read those words, wow, that's very, very difficult. What is Jesus saying? He's saying that we should hate our family? No, he's not. What he's doing, he's breaking down tribalism, he's breaking down nationalism, and he's saying, I'm bigger than all of that. You're going to have persecution from people who love you. You're going to have persecution. So he doesn't say you're to hate them, he says you're to love less. You're to love me more than all of these. That's what this verse means. You're to love me more than all these things. And when you love me more than all these things, then I will take care of all this. I love how he ends in 40:42. He says, anyone who welcomes you welcomes me. Anyone who welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet as a prophet will receive a prophet's reward. Whoever welcomes a righteous person as a righteous person will receive a righteous person's reward. And if anyone gives even a cup of cold water to the one of these little ones who is my disciple, truly I tell you that person will certainly not lose a reward. He's saying that there's rewards for us as we freely receive and we freely give, we're going to continue to receive. Sometimes people think that once we start giving, we stop receiving. No. We receive more when we give. The more we become engaged in his work, the more we receive from him. It's not just the rewards. We receive his constant protection and his love and his desire to use us. That's why we are here. That's why we exist. That's why we call ourselves believers. We're a family for a reason, for a purpose. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be costly. But we received, it didn't cost us anything. Now we give, and it does. And so it's now our time to put skin in the game. It's now our time to jump in. The first 6 months were fun. The first 6 months we're gathering together, we're developing. But this next 12 months is really going to set the case on where we're at. These next 12 months will set us the course of this church and where we're headed and what God has for us. Are we willing to do that? Are we willing to understand that we're here for a purpose and that this assignment the Lord has given us is higher than us? The privilege of being here is greater than us? The work is bigger than us? Because he wants to do something. Everything is about fullness fulfillment. He works in us so he can work through us. That's why we constantly want to hear his word, because that's his filling us, that's his teaching us. And the more we receive from his word, the more now we can engage through his word. And that's what people are waiting for. That's what these students on Friday are waiting for. We've said this a number of times, but there are kids that wanted to know when the old man, David, was going to come back because he makes them laugh. Because David's up there on Friday, and he's sitting up there as a volunteer, and he's up there talking to all these kids and doing memory work and getting them to laugh and smile. They engage with him. Does David have other things he could do? Yes. But he's chosen, this is what God has called him to do. He wants to get involved in the lives of these children because it's going to open doors for the greater work. And that's the older ones that will start in the fall. You see, all these things are building blocks that God has. Fullness, fulfillment. Say it with me. Fullness, fulfillment. Fullness, fulfillment. In me, through me. In me, through me. Now, that's the only way we can get over things that we're struggling with. And some of us are going through struggles that are so hard and difficult, and we say, I can't get over this. I can't get out of this mess. I can't stop this. You're right, you can't. And you're right, you won't. Because it's not about you. It's about him. And as long as we try to do it in our own strength, it never works. It's a battle. But day by day, hour by hour, the journey is with him. And the battle is his, and the victory we get to enjoy. We get to enjoy. So let's trust him. Let's spend these last few minutes. Come on up and we gather for any personal prayer that you may have.